Hey friends, it's Michael Golzmane here. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, in this video, healing autoimmune conditions through spiritual clearing work. So I want to start off by saying that I'm not a medical doctor, and this advice is not meant to be a medical diagnosis or treatment. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend, as with any kind of condition, we often need to be very involved with the physical and working with qualified medical and healing practitioners that we're guided to work with to help in our process. So I recommend you avail yourself of that, of course, and use this advice today as, or this suggestion, this spiritual information, as sort of an adjunct. So let's get into it. So there are a lot of conditions that are known as autoimmune conditions that are happening more presently in the world today. And that's interesting and significant that they would be happening more prevalently than now than ever before. And, scientists, medical practitioners are trying to work on treatments. Ultimately, these conditions in general are considered to not have cures in terms of medicine. They can be managed, perhaps. And they're often very severe. They're often very serious, depending on what condition, depending on how long someone's had it. So this always intrigues me. From a spiritual clearing perspective, the work that I facilitate often has a lot to do with clearing our soul's history. It's very difficult to really talk about spiritual healing and to have it to be effective if someone is not open to talking about their past lives. I'll just put that out there very straightly and plainly. I did not grow up in a tradition that had this idea at all. We were taught, that we were kind of invented at the time of our physical birth. But this is a very limited perspective. So if we're trying to heal something from a holistic or from a spiritual perspective, and we're only working with things that we can consciously remember, then we're going to have some limitations, especially when it comes to complex conditions like autoimmune conditions. So in my spiritual research, I have found that, and this may be news to some of you, that we have really all lived somewhere between 5 to 6 digits of previous lifetimes. It's not just a matter of, I've lived 20 lifetimes or I've lived 200 lifetimes. It's a lot. It's thousands and thousands and thousands, often hundreds of thousands of lifetimes. And I'm talking about, all sorts of different expressions of the soul. We've been around the block a few times. And if you just accept sort of, for a moment, what I'm saying to you as a possibility, you might think, then the issues that we're having in this lifetime right now, this is a very small portion of our total soul journey that we're having in this particular incarnation that we know of myself as Michael in this particular body. So it stands to reason, especially when there seems to be things that may be coming from deep within that are very complex, that are maybe considered to be in genetic or maybe considered to be other types of conditions that we just didn't pick up here and there, like a cold or a flu or something, that there might be a past life component. And we've actually really found this through spiritual research to be the case with autoimmune conditions. As a matter of fact, the past life component, when you ask spirit the question, what percent of this autoimmune condition is caused by energy carried over from past lifetimes? For many autoimmune conditions, the energy is somewhere between 75 to 90%. This is very high. It's very significant. When you talk about things like rheumatism, you talk about things like lupus, thyroid conditions, type 1 diabetes. It sort of stands to reason intuitively if you sit with it a little bit that, this stuff didn't come from nowhere. Nothing in the universe is random. Nothing in the universe just, this person just happens to have this condition. We don't know where it comes from. Well, the fact is that when we say that, we just are not open to a large enough paradigm to recognize, hey, we have this soul's history of thousands and thousands of lifetimes, often hundreds of thousands. So some things have gotten established and created in this time that has caused our physical body to be responding in the way that it is now. So the question is, what are those things? Well, let's think about what autoimmune condition really means. It means the body attacking itself. So what does that mean? Well, why would the body attack itself? When you think about it, we have trillions and trillions of cells, most of which in our body are absolutely all the time, a lot of the time, working harmoniously. They're working with metabolism and working to eliminate toxins. They're working harmoniously into greater amounts of tissues and organs. And if the vast, vast majority of our being was not working together for good in this harmonious, wonderful way, we just could not exist. We certainly couldn't exist for anything longer than a few days or a few weeks. So something has gotten in the way. You know, the basic nature of the universe, the basic nature of life is good, is sustaining, is harmonizing, is nourishing. This is what we know about God, about spirit, about the unified field in physics. It's correlating. It's infinitely correlating. It's omnipresent. It's active here and everywhere in every one of your cells. So what has gotten in the way? Well, the only thing that can really get in the way of anything that spirit, God, whatever you want to call that source, is trying to do is our own beliefs, perceptions, judgments, or limitations to that spiritual energy. In some traditions, this is called karma. In more Western traditions, this is sometimes called sin, but these things are not judgments from spirit. They're not punishments from spirit. They are their own punishment. When we attach ourselves to certain types of discordant energies and beliefs, hold on to them, don't release. This is why many spiritual and religious traditions talk about the importance of forgiveness all the time, because that's the act of releasing stuff that we've been holding on to. When we don't do that, we hold on to these energies, and they coagulate, they stiffen, they get more intensified, and eventually, from the realm of the non-physical to the realm of the physical, which is how everything happens in life, we eventually manifest something in the physical reality. Could be the physical body in this case. We manifest something in the physical body. It's emerged from the non-physical, as long as we have the paradigm that can allow us to see it and to view it. So, okay, so we talked about autoimmune being against the body, being the body attacking itself. Why would it do that? Well, the spiritual energies that have been researched around this include hatred of self, hatred of life, the energies of self-destruction, self-punishment, past life suicide or propensity for suicide, self-limitation, despair. Sort of looking at my notes here, and we think about it, we've had these many lifetimes before, but we've also died in all of those lifetimes. So how have we died? Well, it hasn't always been pleasant ways. Many of us, especially those of you watching this video now, you're on a spiritual path, you're open to spiritual things. So you've had many lifetimes in which you've had religious lifetimes, in which you've found your connection to spirit, which sometimes has upset the dominant religious paradigm, and this has caused you to be killed by the religious communities of the day in various methods. Now, in my spiritual research work in clearing, we often look at these particular methods because the method, and this sounds very gruesome, but the method of execution in previous lifetimes can often have a lot to do with the physical symptoms that people are having now. For instance, death by fire, including either house fire or being burned at the stake for your beliefs. We hear about this kind of thing happening. Is often an underlying spiritual energy and inflammatory conditions, including arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis and other things. So the thing is, this energy is now deep within our unconscious because we don't remember these lifetimes at all. If you're still with me on this video and you're still listening to what I'm saying, you're probably saying, oh yeah, there could be something to that. And it's not really a matter of a belief. You don't really have to believe in what I'm saying. You don't really have to, this kind of clearing work works for people of all persuasions because it's just simply the case. It's simply the fact for all of us. So this is a very valuable energy. Spiritual clearing in terms of our past lives and underlying energies of conditions like autoimmune can be very, very valuable in the healing of these conditions. Not just researching them, but actually clearing them from the soul records. Now, it's very likely that this kind of, the buildup of this energy has happened in the course of many, many lifetimes. So it's also probably important to do a certain amount of regular clearing work around this, to be able to release those energetic underpinnings and to really clear out. And when you clear out the element of cause, the effect clears out also. So this has just been a brief introduction to this process. If you in particular feel open to this and want to get some specific numbers around maybe what underlying energies or lifetimes or issues are beneath your particular scenario, if you have one of these conditions, please feel free to be in touch with me. You can click below this video, or you can click onto my website, clearingconnect.com, and just go to my contact page. I'm happy to do a check-in with you and give you some more detail about what might be underlying these energies, and even just for the simple purpose of your awareness. if you're aware, just by being aware of like, oh yeah, I've had all of these past life health abuse and betrayal and self-punishment and self-hatred. Many people I connect with in terms of my clients often have many, many lifetimes in which they've committed suicide. And this past life scenario can be literally the body attacking itself. It can be an act of self-destruction to the body, and therefore that energy can carry over into our present life now. We might not be thinking about suicide, but this energy can be left over in the body, leading to the body to attack itself. So it's worth considering, I think, as part of your healing process. Happy to check in with you. Look forward to hearing from you, friends. Thanks so much for watching this video. Peace and blessings to you. Till next time. Bye-bye.